All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling the perplexing story of Belle Gunness,
Oh, yeah.
a woman suspected of being one of America's most prolific serial killers
Really prolific.
in the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Yeah, and she's often called the Black Widow of the Midwest.
Right.
But, as we dig into these two biographical articles
Right.
that you shared, um, we'll see there's a lot more to her story than that simple label.
Yeah, for sure, because it's not every day you come across a woman running a pig farm who's
No.
also implicated in the deaths of over a dozen people,
Right.
possibly even more.
Maybe even more, yeah.
So let's get started with Belle's early life.
Okay.
She was born Brynhild Paulsdatter Sturseth in Norway in 1859
Wow, that's a mouth.
and immigrated to the United States in 1881.
Okay.
What really jumps out at me is this drive she had, even as a young woman, to achieve a life of wealth and comfort.
It's interesting you pick up on that because that ambition seems to be a recurring theme throughout her life,
Oh.
although it seems to have manifested itself in some rather disturbing ways.
Speaking of disturbing, let's talk about the string of fires and deaths.
Oh, yeah.
That seemed to follow Belle wherever she went.
There's a lot of those.
Her first marriage to Mads Sørensen was marked by tragedy.
Okay.
They lost 2 infants.
Oh,
And in both cases, Belle received insurance payouts.
interesting.
Then on the very day one of Mad's life insurance policies was about to expire and a new one was set to begin,
Oh, wow.
he suddenly dies from a cerebral hemorrhage. The timing seems awfully suspicious, wouldn't you say?
The timing is certainly peculiar. While the official cause of death was a cerebral hemorrhage,
Right.
some sources suggest neighbors at the time already suspected foul play.
Oh, really?
There were whispers about Belle never appearing pregnant and that the baby's deaths,
Oh, wow.
attributed to intestinal inflammation, could have been caused by poisoning.
Wow.
And of course, Belle collected on both life insurance policies after Mad's death.
So Belle takes the insurance money, a considerable sum of $5,000,
A lot of money back then.
and moves to LaPorte, Indiana. What does she buy with it?
Let me guess, another life insurance policy.
No, a pig farm.
A pig farm.
It's an unexpected choice, to say the least.
And this move to Indiana marks the beginning of a pattern that will repeat itself throughout Belle's life.
Yeah.
A change of scenery, a new beginning, and sadly more misfortune that always seems to benefit her financially.
It's almost as if she was setting up a stage for a tragic play, and she was the director, the lead actress, and unfortunately the
Okay.
one writing the tragic endings for everyone else.
That's a very insightful way to put it.
Yeah.
It seems she had a knack for turning tragedy into personal profit.
And that pattern continues with her second husband, Peter Gunness.
Okay.
Less than a year into their marriage, he dies from a skull injury.
Oh, no.
The official explanation, a falling meat grinder, I mean, come on, how unlucky can one person be?
Well, the coroner at the time certainly had his doubts. He suspected foul play.
Mm-hmm.
But like with her first husband's death, nothing concrete came of it. And once again, Belle collected an insurance payout.
Of course.
It makes you wonder if she was just incredibly unlucky or if something more sinister was at play.
And to make matters even stranger, Peter's infant daughter also dies just a week after their wedding.
Oh, my God.
It's almost as if death had become a constant companion for Belle.
It's a pattern that is difficult to ignore.
Absolutely, but it's about to get even more complicated because now we enter the era of Belle's infamous Lonely Hearts ads.
Right. In 1905, Belle begins placing these ads in Chicago newspapers, specifically targeting wealthy bachelors.
Yeah.
It's as if she's set her sights on a new type of prey.
And she definitely had a type. These men were hardworking, trusting, and most importantly, they had money.
Yeah.
One of these men was Henry Gerholt, a Wisconsin farmhand, who answered one of Belle's ads.
Okay.
He travels to LaPorte, writes to his family about how much he likes the farm, and then vanishes.
And as you might expect, Belle has a convenient explanation ready.
Yeah.
She claims he's gone to Chicago with horse traders. But here's the thing. She keeps all of his belongings, including his trunk and a fur overcoat. That doesn't sound like the behavior of a grieving woman, does it?
Then there's John Moe, a farmer from Minnesota who corresponded with Belle for months before visiting her in LaPorte.
Okay.
He withdraws a significant amount of money, presumably to start their life together, and then he too disappears.
Wow.
But here's a chilling detail. A carpenter who did some work for Belle claimed to have seen Moe's trunk among many others at her house.
Oh, wow.
It's starting to look less like coincidence and more like a calculated scheme.
And just as this pattern of disappearances is becoming increasingly suspicious, something happens that throws the whole case wide open.
A fire.
A fire that would reveal the horrifying truth about what was happening on Belle Gunness's farm. So in 1908, a fire engulfs Belle Gunness's farmhouse, reducing it to ashes.
Oh, wow.
And revealing a horrifying secret that would shock the nation.
It wasn't just a small fire either. It was a raging inferno that completely destroyed the house, and with it, any sense of normalcy
Right.
that might have surrounded Belle Gunness.
Amidst the smoldering debris, investigators made a gruesome discovery.
What was that?
4 bodies. 3 were children.
Oh my gosh.
And the 4th was a headless woman initially believed to be Belle Gunness.
So she's finally gotten her comeuppance.
Well, not so fast. It's almost as if the fire intended to cover up her crimes had actually exposed them.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, remember those slump depressions we talked about earlier?
The suspiciously disturbed areas of ground.
Exactly. Driven by a gut feeling, they decided to dig in one of these spots. And what they uncovered was truly horrific. A gunny sack containing 2 hands, 2 feet, and a head.
That's awful.
And it gets worse. The former hired hand immediately recognized the remains as belonging to his missing brother, Andrew.
Oh, no.
So it seems Belle's web of deception was starting to unravel.
That gruesome discovery opened a Pandora's box of horrors. Investigators soon realized the entire farm was a macabre graveyard.
It was a scene of unimaginable brutality, bodies stuffed into burlap sacks, dismembered, decapitated.
Oh, my.
Their bones wrapped in flesh. The sheer scale of the carnage was unlike anything anyone had ever seen.
It wasn't just a few victims either. Over the course of several days, investigators unearthed the remains of at least 11 additional people.
Right. Some sources suggest the actual number could be much higher.
Really?
Possibly even exceeding 40. Belle Gunness wasn't just a casual killer. She was operating on a whole other level.
It's chilling to think about the level of planning and organization that must have gone into carrying out these crimes for so long.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, how did she manage to deceive so many people for so long?
That's a great question, and it really speaks to the power of appearances. Belle Gunness was, by all accounts, a charming and charismatic woman.
Oh, absolutely.
She knew how to present herself in a way that disarmed people and made them trust her.
And it's important to remember the social context of the time. Women were generally viewed as being more docile and less capable of violence.
Right.
It's possible that this societal bias played a role in allowing Belle to operate under the radar for so long.
It's a sad but true reality that people often underestimate women, especially when it comes to their capacity for violence.
Exactly, and Belle Gunness took full advantage of that.
So the fire that was meant to conceal her crimes ended up exposing them to the world. But one crucial question remained.
Yeah, where was Belle Gunness?
Right. Was she really dead?
Remember that headless body found in the house?
The one initially thought to be Belle.
Right, well, the doctor who examined the remains pointed out that the body was significantly shorter and lighter than Belle was known to be.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't her after all.
Exactly, and of course there's that crucial missing piece, that the head, without it, positive identification was impossible.
Then there's Ray Lamphere, Belle's hired hand.
Oh, yeah. Some accounts suggest he was also her lover.
He was arrested shortly after the fire and convicted of arson, but while he was in custody, he made a series of startling confessions that shed new light on the case.
What did he say?
Lamphere claimed that Belle had planned the entire fire as a way to fake her own death.
Oh, wow.
And escape with the fortune she'd amassed from her victims.
So she might still be out there.
He even went into detail about how she supposedly orchestrated everything, withdrawing a large sum of money from her bank accounts before the fire and disappearing into thin air.
It's a wild story, right?
It is, but is it true? Some authorities dismiss Lamphere's confession as the ramblings of a desperate man trying to save his own skin.
Right.
Others believe there was more to it.
And adding to the intrigue are the numerous reported sightings of Belle Gunness in the years after the fire.
Really?
People claim to have seen her all over the country, in Chicago, San Francisco, even as far away as Europe.
Wow.
These sightings were never confirmed, but they fueled the mystery surrounding her fate.
In 2008, over a century after the fire, DNA testing was conducted on the headless body found in the farmhouse, hoping to finally determine if it was Belle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to the age and condition of the remains, the results were inconclusive.
So the question of Belle Gunness's ultimate fate remains a tantalizing mystery. Did she perish in the fire, or did she manage to outwit the authorities and vanish into obscurity?
We may never know for sure, but one thing is certain. Belle Gunness left an indelible mark on American true crime history. Her story continues to fascinate, horrify and inspire countless books, documentaries, and even songs.
And the Gunness farm itself became a morbid tourist attraction, drawing people from all over to see the site of these horrific crimes. It serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary places. But I think there's more to unpack here than just the gruesome details.
I agree. The story of Belle Gunness forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about human nature, about our capacity for deception, manipulation, and violence. So we've uncovered a lot of disturbing details about Belle Gunness and her crimes, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to step back for a moment and consider the bigger picture.
Yeah, what can we learn from this story?
Right, because while the gruesome details are certainly captivating, I think there's a deeper lesson here about human nature and the dangers of unchecked ambition.
Absolutely. Belle Gunness's story is a cautionary tale about the dark side of the American dream, the idea that anyone can achieve success and prosperity no matter the cost.
It's a reminder that the pursuit of wealth and power can corrupt even the most seemingly ordinary people.
And it also highlights the importance of critical thinking and skepticism in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information and often encouraged to take things at face value,
Especially online.
especially online, right?
Yeah.
We need to be discerning consumers of information, questioning what we see and hear, and being wary of those who promise easy solutions or quick riches.
It's easy to get caught up in the allure of a charming personality or a well-crafted narrative, but Belle Gunness's story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving.
It's a lesson that's as relevant today as it was a century ago.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life and crimes of Belle Gunness, let's remember the importance of staying informed, being critical of the information we consume, and trusting our instincts when something feels off.
And if there's one thing we can take away from this story, it's that evil can wear many faces. And sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones who appear the most harmless.
So stay vigilant out there, folks, and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dark world of Belle Gunness. It's been a fascinating and thought-provoking journey.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop searching for the truth.